What's everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's me. It's RDV. You're gonna flub that intro already. Here, I'm here with Zach. He's kind of on the camera's on a kind of a delay tonight a little bit.
Is it really?
I don't know if it's just me or maybe no. We'll have to find out.
If it's you. It shouldn't be anything with. I have internet for the rest of the week.
I'm using Opera, the one of the.
Oh.
So I don't know.
That might be it. That could be the
deciding
factor.
What's going on, Morania? Is in the chat saying, "K, what's going to be the top 5 comic books of the week?" Inquiring minds want to know who are these inquiring minds and why do they want to know these things?
Yeah, well, who's inquiring about us? Like, I'm confused.
The National Inquisitor?
National Enquirer. Because they're inquiring, they're not inquisiting.
Is it Jack McGee? You don't know who Jack McGee is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
He just failed nerd class.
I failed nerd class so many times. Look, we established this last night on Yours and Ash's stream. I am a casual fan of many things. Not everything, but many things.
Dr. David Banner.
Oh, he's the actor? Jack?
No, that was Bill Bixby.
That makes
sense.
sense.
The Incredible Hulk, Jack McGee. Jack McGee was an investigative reporter trying to find out who the Hulk. You know, every time he sees a Hulk, and the Hulk would always be gone. You know, he never. So people didn't believe him. He was a joke. So
was he like the Thunderbolt Ross then?
Not really. He was not really a general. He's just, I guess, he's an investigative reporter who would not let it rest. And he's that famous scene. It's like he said, there's that famous scene, a clip you'll see where David Banner's talking to Jack McGee. He's like, Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Okay. Yeah. So he sounds like the Jameson. Like if Hulk ever had a Jameson, it sounds like Jack McGee was him.
It's basically if Jameson didn't have the Daily Beagle.
Yeah. He didn't have the Daily Beagle, and he didn't hate Spider-Man. He would have been following the Hulk around, just like Hulk.
Yes. All right. So for those who are following us tonight, you're streaming on StreamYard. No, sorry, through StreamYard. We're going to Twitch, and sorry, I got hiccups. I was drinking some soda. We're on Twitch and over on YouTube right now. For those who are following us on Twitch, we do basically have all of our older, as far as recordings, as far as what comes to readings, top 5s, best of the weeks, our retrospectives on Friday nights are always on YouTube, and you can just search for the playlist, find them there. But we do appreciate people checking us out over on Twitch. We are trying to build up a little following there. We'll always be on YouTube. We're not going to just leave YouTube and just go to Twitch if they pay us, you know. But if they pay us more, who knows?
I was about to say, if they're offering money, I'm out. Sorry, YouTube. I'm going to go where the money is.
But we do appreciate having people interact over there. So basically, if like I said, I my thing is that I want to broadcast to YouTube more than I do, you know. But Twitch is kind of a way to get people, because a lot of people go on Twitch. That's just the way it is. YouTube is popular, but I think Twitch is a lot more popular for video games. But now it's crazy that they have podcasts on there now on Twitch. They think it's just called just chatting, where people just talk to whoever's in the chat, kind of like we do tonight on nights like this. Yeah, and then like I said, it's a new category stuff they have, so it's kind of cool.
So, you know, my favorite twin, he does a show over on Twitch.
Yes, and he is one of the recommendeds on the Geeky Puppet Show over there.
As he should be. As well,
of course. I mean, I just wish that he would go live when the Kings are playing, so we can just watch when they lose and just see his heart just go.
No, don't do that. No. I didn't know he was going to do that. I'm sorry.
Light the funeral fire, says Eva Black Cat last night. Man, dude, I honestly, I gotta get props to the Kings, though. That was a really freaking awesome game. Just back and forth. Those are the games I love. It's kind of like
the close games are a lot more entertaining to watch
than the blowout games, and whether it's baseball or it's whether it's football or basketball, those just get boring. Now, now I gotta say, if your team's winning and it's like we're beating him by 20, you're happy. But if you're the guy in the bar, like, happy hour's over, guys. Yeah, check out Skipitosh on there too. So, like I said, so getting back to the topic here, on top 5 comics, you're like, well, wait, are we just going to show 5 books? No, actually, we're going to show 10 books. 10. Zach's going to show his top 5. I'm going to show my top 5. These are predictions of the books coming out this week, which we believe are going to be our favorites out of all the books we get. And you're like, well, what if he's only getting 6? Well, these would be the top 5 out of that 6. So,
actually, how many books do I have? I have 8 on my pull list right now. I have 8,
and
it's not a bad
shout out to Ronald Rugg. It was actually his idea. He kind of told Trusty, sidekick, another guy who's on our channel. Ron basically said, why don't you guys go over to Twitch? Twitch is pretty easy to build, and it is. We gained 9 followers, and it's been a week. We haven't really seen much action after that. But then again, like I said, I'm an amateur YouTuber. I'm pretty noob when it comes to Twitch. I'm like, old man, like, what is this? How they do this? It is just interactions is just kind of more complicated versus just doing what we do over on YouTube. But then again, I don't use Streamlabs. Maybe the key is using Streamlabs. I don't know. All right, so we went down from 14 to 10. The more we talk about that stuff, let's talk about comics.
Yeah, I was about to say, nobody's here to listen to technical jargon. They want to talk about capes and characters and blah, blah, blah.
Capes and characters. All right, so I think, Zach, did you go first last week?
I went first last week. Yeah, I went first.
All right. So I'm going to go. I'll go first this week. And shout out to HR Man. What's up, man? Jay Lucian. Anyone, Eric Breen, anyone else I might have missed in here? I don't think I did. Skipitosh, it's good to see you. Evil Black Cat. All right. So
good to see Evil Black Cats. Since when? Just kidding, Evil Black.
It's always good to see Evil Black Cat.
I shouldn't diss him. He did end up agreeing with me twice yesterday. Unprecedented. So I gotta show him some favors, some manners.
All right, so my number 5 is a book I may or may not drop depending on this issue. It is Daredevil number 9.
And you can threaten and drop this for weeks, and you still haven't.
I might because it's Manuel Garcia. It's not even the other guy. It's not even Hawthorne on the interior art this time. Where's Chichetto? Like, why are we getting artists that aren't the ones we want on the book?
Yeah.
Chichetto art on the cover. I'm scared. I'm scared to see what the interior is going to be like. And also, why does Daredevil look like he just got done with rollerball? He's got the shoulder pads on. What the heck is this crap?
He's a ninja warrior. He needs armor.
He looks like a guy who hasn't bathed in like 3 years. He looks like he's been run, Forrest, run.
Forrest.
Over 3 years, Daredevil's life has been a living hell. Between the Stromwins, who are the scrappiest villains ever, and that made fun of. That's another thing. That's another thing I hate about this series, is that they nerfed the Kingpin for the Stromwins.
Well, Kingpin's out of the picture now. He's off somewhere, living life away from being mayor.
Frank wouldn't stand for this shit. He would have Kingpin being a badass, and he would have killed the Stromwins.
Who's to say that's not the end game? Who knows?
No. Instead, Vanessa's not in this. Apparently, she must be dead or something. Or
Vanessa's
divorced.
been dead, yeah, because Kingpin married Typhoid Mary.
Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it says the Hand, and also his time incarcerated, exposed to reset. How's that? COVID? What is reset?
Maybe it's the Marvel version of COVID.
Now all those dangerous forces are coming together and threatening everything Matt Murdock holds dear.
Again,
is this? It says it's a Red Fist Saga Part 9. Is it? We saw last issue, if I recall correctly, he was supposed to be going against the Avengers. The Avengers are basically rallying to go against him.
Yes, that is how the last one.
So ended. Are they going to be in this?
Maybe they should be.
We got Stromwins back again. We got Doc Sasquatch. You know, we got a
Yeah.
Foggy, who's already in here. These are basically people who've already been here. The only thing is seeing is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man by himself. Is Spider-Man going to go try to plead with Daredevil and be like, Matt, and I'm not talking to you, Elektra, I'm talking to Matt, because there's 2 Daredevils still. Is he going to try to plead his case and be like, Matt, you're my friend. You know, you just come clean. I'm sure the Avengers won't. He's like, go away, young Spider Boy. You've destroyed the city.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's gonna try to like bring him in peacefully. Maybe that's what that's what I think Spider-Man would do. He would try to bring him in peacefully,
which is hilarious because Spider-Man is now. Is this a Spider-Man we're getting from the other Marvel crap? The one that's going on with the Mayan Zeb Wells shit, or is this a completely different Spider-Man? Because I get the feeling that it's not connected. That Zdarsky said screw Marvel and said I am not. He connected with Kate's Venom. You know, but he's also got Jason Aaron's Punisher. So is it connected or is it not connected? Like I said, it
might not even have that big of an impact on the story. I mean, it is Daredevil's story, not Spider-Man's. So
Ronald says it'll get better, bigger. I'm not good with Twitter, but I know it's how a lot of people build as well. But Twitch is another audience almost in its entirely. Comics got it. Like I said, hopefully people do see this, come over to YouTube, and just make the switch to YouTube, because Twitch to me has always been like, as far as it's been not comic books or any stuff or pod talking. Twitch to me is either it's e-thoughts or it's video games or both. It's your place, you know. I commend Skip not being an e-thought and just talking about comic books. I just wish he talked about better writers than Jonathan Hickman.
Hey, there are better writers. You're reading this. You know what? No, I'm gonna bite my tongue. I'm gonna be polite. You read your books.
Yes,
Hickman's better though.
All right, so enough of talking about I'm not Daredevil.
I am not Daredevil. There's no Mariko Tamaki self-inserts here.
No, it's Elektra self-inserts.
Okay, my number 5. There's you know what? I decided I'm gonna, this is time for one of my, infamous Zach gambles, my number 5 gambles, but it's not really so much of a gamble this time, I feel. We're gonna go all the way down to Dynamite. They've got a number 1, or I guess it's a one shot from Jacob Edgar and Jordi Perez. Rocket Man and Rocket Girl, number 1. If you remember a few months back, Dynamite did I think it was Catman and Kitten, number 1, where basically they kind of just like reintroduced this character. It was like a golden age hero type of story. Very adventure-like, it was like there was jungle adventures, there was art thieves, and it was a good one shot. And so Dynamite's kind of revisiting that idea with a different duo here. We have Rocket Man and his sidekick Rocket Girl. Jacob Edgar, unfortunately, he's not the artist. I think he's a really good artist, but he's the writer on this, which I'm kind of curious to see how he does. But it looks like another one of those cool, like golden age, like it's a simple premise. Like, okay, there's Nazis that are going to steal rocket technology, and Rocket Man and Rocket Girl are going to foil them. Very simple, and I say simplicity is bliss. And with comics, I think that there's simplicity in comics gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I got a background for this, it's like these books, when they take place in the 40s, that's what I love about the JSA. Because there's always spies, look at Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., the Hydra, the Nazis always trying to infiltrate things. Those are kind of cool. I mean, I wish there was more Golden Age stories. I wish Jay Garrick had, I want JSA, but only focus on JSA in the 40s. That would be awesome. Or just Jay Garrick Flash in the 40s. Like I said, I don't think we'll ever get that. The closer we get there is the current Justice Society of America, where it's going through time travel. But like I said, I love the 1940s, kind of like, just as far as the vigilante stuff. But problem is that most people, when they write the stuff in the 40s, it's from a modern sense. It's not.
Well, I know the last one, the Catman and Kitten, didn't really have any modern tie-ins or any modern ideology put into it. Jacob, like I said, I've never read Jacob Edgar's writing before. I've only seen his artwork, so I don't know how he's going to write. Could be good. He could end up being like the biggest activist writer ever. Who knows? But he did do a cover. He does do one of the variant covers. I think it's cover B. He's got this really cool style. I really like it. It's kind of more. It's more like not
Batman series.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it almost looks like Bruce Timm a little bit, or it takes maybe some inspiration from him. But yeah, no, I dig it. I think he has a really cool art style.
Maria brings a point. Catman and Kid had the same color schemes.
I thought Catman had like a leopard print or something. I could be wrong. But well, I mean, look, every villain at Marvel was like wore green and purple. So
give me this black and white.
The black and white one also looks
with his art.
Yeah, it has like that old time like black and white cartoon.
Yeah,
right.
That serial kind of like 1940s serial,
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think this is as big of a gamble or as big as a risk as my past number 5 spots have been. I think that this one's kind
of like what they did, like when they had Batman and animated series, they had the Gray Ghost come on. It was in black and white. Timey-wimey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, hopefully it does better than that. What was the one we read with the 3 girls?
Yeah. What was it? The Scarlet Sisters or
Scarlet
something
Sisters
like that?
was so beyond work. It had nothing to do with that. It was just
Well, I didn't read that one, but I did read the Catman and Kitten one, and that one was entertaining.
Yeah, I didn't read the Catman and Kitten because I was so put up on the last one before that. That was like a 1940s thing.
I'd recommend it. If you're able to find it, I would recommend it. It's a good one-shot. I had a lot of fun with it. And so I think that this will probably follow in the same footsteps. Cool. So, yeah, my number 5.
And it's 40 pages, man. That's cool.
40 pages. I think it's like $4. Yeah, $5.
Yeah, well, that one was $5. Yeah. All right. So my number 4 is a book series that normally wouldn't be on my radar, but it's the 3rd issue. It's just been enjoying it, and I normally, like I said, I normally wouldn't pick this book. I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Geek Show, Joe's Geek Show is usually the one that basically is all crazy about these characters, and this is issue actually 4 coming out this week. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaming up. This is the second time that they've. See, that's how far out I am as far as like the loop when it comes to these characters. I don't follow Power Rangers, but Boom Studios apparently has been knocking out a lot of as far as the park as far as when it comes to Power Rangers. A lot of people like it. Power Rangers, I watched when I grew up. Dude, I watched the first season when it first aired. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they went from Drake, and then they went the Ninja, and then it's like, now they're Race Car Turbo. I was like, I'm done. I was like, it's just I see your game, Mario. All you want us is to buy the toys. You don't give a shit about the show. The show's so bad, you just want us to get the toys. and it damn nearly worked because like I love like Megazoids. Yeah. Like I said, yeah. Marani, I was reading your mind because that's literally it goes. When I see black and white animated style, I go back to the Gray Ghost. Awesome character, who basically is supposed to be Zorro, but they changed it. So this you're seeing here. Now this is something that I'm surprised that like going into Dimension X, where the heroes and villains continue to blur as they fight old foes and unfamiliar monsters. But also we get the Mutant Rangers, which are basically they're the Power Rangers, but instead of they basically being human, they look like they're Zoids. You call them, like
it looks like it looks like they read Jurassic League and thought, why don't we do this with Power Rangers?
Can you tell which one's the Black Ranger? He's the Mastodon.
Back in my day, we just called him a mammoth. But
yes. Well, Mastodon is like a much more powerful mammoth. He's got bigger tusks.
Gotcha.
Than the normal, average one. Anyway, so we also if you also look at the bottom of here, you see like, wait, that's not Power Rangers either. That's kind of that's the Ninja Turtles now have their own Power Rangers Morphers, coin stuff that was created by Billy and Donatello. So now they can morph into Power Rangers. Like I said, it has been fun. Ryan Parrott has been proving to be just a fun writer. Dan Mora doing the cover, also doing all the interior, so you know exactly what art you're getting on the inside, which all comics should be. If you're gonna have a cover artist, you damn well better be the interior artist too, like they used to do back in the day. John Romita Sr. did this.
Mm-hmm.
He'd do the cover, or you would have Gil Kane do a cover, but Gil Kane art was similar to what you saw was the inside. Everybody had a house style. Instead of this, now we get clickbait covers. We'll give this pretty look at Art Adams cover, and then inside it's Riley Rossmo. But like I said, if you haven't checked out this series, do check it out. It is Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. I'm a sucker for Ninja Turtles. I grew up with the cartoon series. I like the original movies. Don't care for the Michael Bay shit. I will not touch it. I will not even watch it.
Come on, there's some cool spots in that movie, like when they're in the elevator rapping and hyping up. Like that was cool.
If you want to see rapping, check out Ninja Rap and Secret. Basically go back to Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze, number 2. Watch that, and you get to see some breakdancing fighting. Like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but man, it's just the art, the storytelling. Ryan Parrott proves that he is a good writer. I'm curious to see what other books he's written other than Power Rangers, see how well he gauge him as far as handling other things. But like I said, nostalgia hits hard with this one, but it's also exceptionally good writing and good art. So basically, it doesn't hurt. To pick this up, it is $4.99 though. If you're one of the stiflers that doesn't want to pay more than $2.99, I understand that. But so pick it up a year from now. It'll be dropped down.
The trade comes out,
yeah. Get the trade too. So yeah, that is my number 4. Some other things. Here you go. Here's a variant. I just saw this. I'm not sure why they had to do this kind of cover.
Why? Yeah, who are they? Who's buying that one? That's a weird one.
Here's the Megazord. I'm not sure. This is by Gist. That is.
Yeah, that's all right.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I do like black and white stuff. Here's Eastman Williams, black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like Kevin Eastman, here's your cover for Kevin Eastman, and you're getting Dan Mora on the interior and Ryan Parrott.
Yeah.
So fun series. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Even if you're not a Power Rangers fan. I'm not a huge Power Rangers fan, but it helps that I'm a Ninja Turtles fan, and I can appreciate the personalities from the cartoons, the original cartoons in the 80s, because they have the same personality. They're great. Mikey loves pizza. That's all I need from Mikey. Donatello is a scientist. Leo is the leader, and Raphael is the guy who basically wants to kick some ass all the time. Oh yeah, and April actually looks normal. She actually looks like the original character. They didn't desexualize her. They didn't make her look like what's her name? Brie Larson.
If you had 23 minutes and 40 seconds before the new movie got brought up, you won.
Well, I'm not talking about the new movie. I'm just talking about what they've done before, because this isn't the first time they've had it. They made the Turtles movies. It's the second time they've had her as a black girl before.
Yeah,
but it was really, really they made her almost. She looked like an 8-year-old.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, well, the whole animation style for that show is weird too.
And and probably desexualizing isn't the correct word, because I don't sexualize characters. That's kind of your thing. Feel like you're really attracted to
my thing. What are you talking about? My thing?
Well, no. I'm not saying your thing, but the people who sexualize characters. That's their thing. I hear what you're saying.
I hear what you're saying. Megan Fox was pretty.
No, I gotta say, I was tempted. Megan Fox.
Not one of the bad parts of the Michael Bay Turtles. I will say that.
Michael Bay and the Koopas.
And the Koopas.
Let's go to your number 4.
Yes, let's. I'm due for a Breen and Ash being disappointed in me. My number 4, we're going to go with Thor, number 32. This is continuing the current storyline going on. Since Cates has left the book, it's been taken over by Torin Gronbeck. I hope I'm saying that name right, but I don't think I am. And the artist is Juan Gideon. And the art so far hasn't been bad. It has not been bad. I've liked it. So this issue looks really cool. We're going to get Thor versus Doctor Doom. He's kind of been lurking in the shadows the last couple of issues. It looked like it was going to be a Thor versus Thanos story.
Yep.
And now it's going to be Thor versus Doom. I think there's going to be like a Thor v Doom v Thanos coming up in the future. But I've been liking this so far. I liked how they used Corvus Glaive, one of Thanos' bad guys. They kind of brought him into the forefront, made him like this villain that kidnapped one of Thor's baby siblings. And Thor having to like venture into like the netherworld or like hell, basically. And you see this flashback to the past where Thanos has this epic battle fighting Bor, Thor's grandfather. It was really, really cool. So I've been enjoying this, which is kind of weird because Donny Cates isn't on the title anymore, and Cates was really good with Thor.
She's actually Norwegian, isn't she?
The way her name is spelled, I think she's part Norwegian, or at least maybe full Norwegian. Who knows? Might be why she got the title, because only Norwegians can write Norse gods. I don't know. Maybe that's just.
Like I said, no one will ever write Norse gods like Walt Simonson. He established it. He brought it in.
Or Straczynski.
Straczynski was a great follow-up to Simonson.
Yeah, he was good. Cates was good, even. I think Cates was good.
But my only thing about this is that Odin's dead. Let him be dead. Instead, they had to talk
in the hammer.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like magic. It's magic.
You know what it is? It's
no one stays dead in comics.
No. Hear me out. Now imagine they did the Spider-Man when his web shooter was possessed by Uncle Ben and talked to him.
But Spider-Man's not magic. Thor is magic and remember Loki died and then got reborn and he was like this little kid? Yes. Like there's a whole bunch of magic and resurrections and Ragnarok that takes place in Thor. Like if you can't hold him to the same standard as Spider-Man. You can't do it.
So I gotta say, I am kind of looking forward to this. I mean, I haven't been reading it, but I mean, I do. Whenever they bring Doctor Doom into a story, I'm like, it'd be Cantwell. I read because it was Doctor Doom. I didn't give a shit about Cantwell.
Yeah,
and it was mid. And I'm not gonna put the meme. You got to wait for that for later on. We'll get to his other hot takes.
I will have one that he definitely will disapprove of.
Man, like I said, Thor versus Hulk versus a celestial armor Iron Man before with Cates, and then we're going against Doctor Doom. Now, this cover looks epic, but what is the interior going to be like? Is it going to be them fighting, or is it going to be like just Doom outwitting him and that's it?
Who knows?
I hate clickbait covers. As I said, I would love to see Doom versus Thor. I would love to see that in the MCU. Actually, I would love to see actual legitimate Doctor Doom from the comic, straight up pulled up, evil son of a bitch, full strength, going against Thor. And it'd be awesome for me. But I mean, I don't think we'll get that. Maybe we will. I mean, by the time we get to Fantastic Four, I think a lot of people have lost interest in comic book movies by then because it's going to take forever. Like they just remember, it takes 5 years for them to even do anything.
Maybe. I don't know if it'll take them 5 years. Maybe like 2 or 3.
Like I said, I'm kind of, been pushed out of the MCU. MCU, the first part I liked. By the second phase,
with the MCU.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, the MCU has become as mid as the comics.
Okay, but that has not anything to do with the comic. This is my number 4, everybody.
Yeah,
Thor number 32.
Exactly, Ash. Doom is God to your villain, and in nothing, he should not be portrayed nothing less than that. But we'll find out. All right, that was your number 4. We'll go to my number 4. My number 5 or 3 actually. My number 3 is Detective Comics 1070. I've been enjoying this. Ram V on the title here. Actually, I'm not a fan of the cover.
I don't hate it, but it's not one of the best ones.
I'm just when I see Batman, his face on there, it just looks kind of weird to me. That angle.
It's a Gil Kane shot.
It It just it doesn't look like Bruce
You
Wayne.
just don't like it because it's not George Bell inking. That's
No,
why.
no,
If George Bell was
well,
inking, you'd be all over it.
well, sure, if George Bell was inking this, because I'm like, that guy's been dead for years.
Touche.
But
Touche.
no, but I mean, like, it doesn't look like Batman. This looks somebody cosplaying as Batman and putting it on here, and then she just looks perturbed, like she's like, okay, she saw something she didn't, like she accidentally came across like a porn pop up on her computer. I'm not sold to the expression.
What? Dick is back with Starfire? How dare he?
So if you want to get a good cover for this, there are at least two other good variant covers. There is the Ivan Rise stock cover right here.
Yeah,
With,
that one's nice.
Look at that. It's behind
the
him.
wall of skulls and the Clayface monster.
Yeah, and then Talia down there. That is just a beautiful cover. Now this is $6. $6. They are raising the prices on the Batman books. They've gone to $4.99. I don't think they always.
Well, that's the cover B, right? Cover A is still $4.99.
But I noticed that this is 40 pages.
Yeah.
Are they giving us more pages? That's why they're increasing the price.
No, they've always done that with the variant covers, or not always, but they've been doing it. DC's been doing that recently.
But it's 40,
the cover A's will be like $4.99 or $3.99.
But this is $5.99. This is $6.
But that's not the cover A though.
I know. It's a cover B, but still, I'm saying. So my thing is that remember it used to be $3.99 for Batman. So now it seems like they're just raising the price only on Batman.
No. It's not just with Batman. It's been with cover B's and cover C's for at least a year. I feel like.
No.
Like, there's like the
cover A's. Cover A's. The basic price for cover A's has been $3.99. Right. Now it's $4.99.
Yeah. But then with that getting increased, then the cover B's.
Well, I know about I know what the stock variants. I'm not talking about the variants being priced. I'm just saying it sucks because the variants go up $1 more because they're always better than their normal covers. That's why they charge you more. It's just the point where I'm just like, I might be dropping some books because I'm not going to pay $6 for a better cover. Or pay $5. That's for a normal one. It's a standard. Like save that for when you actually have a better, more pages and stuff like that. Book. But I don't know. At least give me a prestige format. If you're gonna do this shit. But yeah. So this is Kelly Jones. This is the other cover for Detective Comics. Not a fan of Cy Spurrier being on the back of this issue of this book. I just don't care for him as a writer. Some people do.
You just don't like him because he's taking over.
Dude, Cy Spurrier. I've never liked Cy Spurrier. He was doing the crappy backups with Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that before. I even knew
the Two-Face. The Two-Face story. I didn't really care for. What is the new one? Is Mr. Freeze though? I kind of dug the Mr. Freeze one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For over a year now, they've been. I don't remember them ever raising up to $4.99 for the main cover. It's always $4.99. It was always the stock variants.
No, the stock variants have been more expensive. I don't know.
Like I said, it's getting to the point where I might try to drop them some books and.
Why do you think I'm not picking up miniseries all the time? Because I've got to drop something.
But anyway. So it's just called The Gothic Opera Crashes in a crescendo as Batman goes head to head with it, the Asthma Demon, unaware that it is someone in Bruce Wayne's life. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, a mysterious team called the Vigil. See, this is one of the reason I'm getting this issue because the Vigil, Ram-V's new creation, arrives to investigate the Asthma sightings. But who are the Vigil, and are they on Batman's side? Then in the post at the back of the story, supposed to with Miss Freeze, only a pale image of the woman Victor Freeze fell in love with. What does he do now to save her? Okay, he's in a backup story by himself with no Batman.
Well, that's what all these stories have been. They've been like these villain backup stories to kind of get you up to speed with what's going on with the villains.
If I want to read dude, I don't know. I'd rather just read Secret Origins.
I mean, what's going on with the villains during this story, though? Not like their origins. It's like
no. I'm just saying. If I want to read anything about the villains, I would just go read Secret Origins. The files right now. So DC is planning on slowly raising the prices $1 in all their books. So like I said, we'll see how many books I get in the future.
I mean, look, we've been paying more for everything else since our esteemed president took office. It was only a matter of time before it hit comic books as well.
Yeah.
So, All right. So we're gonna hit my number three. My number three, I've got a surprise. This was not on my pull list, so you don't know what's coming. I got a shocker for you. We're going with Marvel Comics again. We have Clobberin' Time, number one. This is a new series. I'm hoping it's not a miniseries. It seems like it's not planned to be a miniseries, but this is by Steve Skroce or Sprouse. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name.
Wow, is it really far down? Now these books are League of Comic Geeks we use here. It's a free
Yes.
site. You can create your own free account. These are basically ordered by the number of people who pulled in their list. So that's why this is so far down. Because a lot of people did not pull this.
That doesn't make me
But
feel really
that-
great. But I like the whole synopsis here. It feels like the Marvel 2-in-1s that had the Thing team up with all the other heroes. So this is Ben Grimm teaming up with heroes from across the Marvel universe for big fist pounding action. So yeah, Ben and the Incredible Hulk. That was my worst Marania impersonation.
It's clobbering time, you
It's
poop.
clobbering time, Alicia. But
I don't see the appeal in this book.
well, you can't see anything. But yeah, it's Ben and the Hulk on an alien world, and they're there to fight legions of hordes and the wrath of a celestial. So, if it's a just a clobbering, melee of a book, then yeah, it looks cool. The colors, I like the colors on the cover. They stand out. It's very striking. Ash says Scratchy. Scratchy?
It's Steve
Okay.
Scroce, not
Scroachy.
Scrotum.
Not scrotum, hopefully.
I cannot see anything, says Italy.
I am a big fan of the Thing. He has always been one of my favorite superheroes. So yeah, I was reminded that this was coming out, and it doesn't look like it's planned to be a miniseries. I'm hoping that it stays on ongoing status for a bit at least. But if it's just a slugfest with the Thing and the Hulk, then why not? I'm all for it. So that is why
also
it's my number 3.
I haven't said hello to Mark McGrath. Great to see you here too. And Ashley Comics, he says, I'm late for important dates. Well, why you hear that? You're still late. Go.
I think this was the important date.
Oh, was it? Oh, I feel flattered now. Has anybody seen Undead Quinn? We're waiting for his top
Yeah.
5.
Undead Quinn.
To him, it's good to see you as well, too, man. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, like I said, this just sounds like a Marvel 2-in-1 or Marvel team-up. But instead, they're calling it Collaborate Time. Now, I want to point out, just because it's at the bottom of people's pull list, this could turn out to be an actually good hit. I don't know anything about Steve Scroce.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar. Let me see if I can pull him up and see what else he's done.
He just kind of look like Gary from Neurotic, though.
A little bit, right?
It's the glasses, the beard. Sorry.
He wrote the Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries that we read last year. Yeah.
Oh,
he did that.
Wow.
He wrote some Amazing Spider-Man. He wrote some Cable in the Cable series that ran from 93 to 2002. So it looks like he's done a little bit of here and there. I'm trying to find something he's done a lot of issues for.
I want to point out to Ash, I'm not that far behind the chat. I'm not gonna read every single comment that I miss. I'm not Angleton here. But I do occasionally look to see who's in the chat. Say hello.
He wrote X-Man, 20 issues of X-Man that ran in the 90s, the mid 90s. So it looks like he's a 90. He wrote a lot of stuff in the 90s, or most of the stuff he wrote looks like that from the 90s. So I do have kind of a fondness for some 90s comics. So yeah.
So Mark's saying that Steve did storyboards for The Matrix, V for Vendetta, and other movies as well as his comics work. Like I said, you said he basically did what was that? The Ben Reilly Spider-Man.
The Ben Reilly Spider-Man, the 5
one of my top favorite books that came out from Marvel right now. I'm trying to think. Didn't DeMatteis do a Ben Reilly Spider-Man too?
Maybe. That sounds like a brain question. You're the Spider-Man fan. You should know.
They all kind of run together after a while, you know.
Yeah.
You know. We need to read Clobbering Time on the channel. Eric and I will have one voice of the main characters. Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother. You handle the big pile of rocks, and I got the meanie greenie. Or the greenie meanie, whatever. I've heard
The
it both
greenie
ways.
meanie.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out our readings, whenever we have Hulk Hogan Hulk, but it's read by Eric Breen and Marania reading Ben Clobbering Thing, Grim. Dude, it's just fun, you know. And you get the Hulkster, you know, running wild, Hulkamania.
Yep.
It is the most stupidest thing, but it makes me laugh. It's just having Hulk Hogan voice the Hulk.
Yep.
It is fun, you know. Check out our readings. Especially check out Secret Wars. You get to see a lot of that. You also get to see Titania and Volcano, their first appearances. I don't know about Titania, but I know it's Volcano's first appearance.
No, it is. It's Titania's first appearance too.
Okay, awesome. I stand corrected. Or I say corrected.
If it's Secret Wars, I know. Look, when Secret Wars pops up on Comic Book Jeopardy, Marania knows you can't touch this.
All right.
Anyway, let's get to your number 2.
I told you can't touch this.
And we got struck.
I'm sure your bad singing will not be recognized as the song. They're not going to claim that crap.
Like, oh, we just had this weird warbly noise. We don't know what that was. Thought we were about to strike them for copyrights.
I'm going to claim that horrible singing because I want the money off of that. Yeah, we're not monetized or something they claim. All right, let's go over to my number 2. My number 2 is just been a shocking revelation because I didn't think they were going to do a second volume of this. And I'm kind of mad.
I know, you were really surprised, yeah.
Venom Lethal Protector Volume 2, Issue 1. The Lion Agenda. Edward Brock versus freaking Dr. Doom. Enough said. David Michelin's back. Brand new story set in the Sinister Symbiote's past within his brains and Spider-Man, and we're still on the menu. And this time he's uniting and rising with Fareed Karimi. I'm not sure what he's on, but it says to leave an epic blockbuster story that will take Venom from the streets of New York City to the Kingdom of Latveria, as Eddie Brock is challenged like never before. What or who will Venom need to overcome the fiercest foe in Marvel? You. One thing's for certain: this monster is bringing the mayhem. That cover is awesome. That is, disease cover artist is Paulo Sequeira. That is just an awesome cover, man.
That is a really cool cover.
Oh,
the one thing, and this is a minor nitpick. His mouth does seem a little smaller than I'm used to seeing from Venom. Like normally, I'm used to like big old like a snake's jaw that comes unhinged.
Confirmed.
His like really.
Zach only likes big mouths.
I didn't say that. Just with Venom, I'm used to seeing a big mouth. But I do like this cover a lot, though. I like seeing like this is like classic '90s Venom. So
just the whole thing is seeing where he's kind of pulling the thing and saying, "Hey guys, I'm here." It's like we talked about on I Love Comics the other day. What comic book covers we want to see as posters?
Mm-hmm.
The version print of this with the title and just with the number 1, get rid of that crap. I want this as a cover, as a poster, and a poster. That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool.
What's with the salt? Marania? I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
Oh, the caps. I don't know. Wait. Only Eric can do Hulk, not Marania? Oh, that's what she's... Okay. Yeah. Well, awesome. So anyway, getting back to this cover. Austin P says this Venom looks like the classic McFarlane
Venom. Yeah.
Like I said, I love that cover. There are some alternate covers here too, which I saw, because everything has to have 14 covers when it comes out as number 1.
Oh yeah, it's a new number.
So
1.
this is the guy. This is the guy who did the main cover. This is his alternate cover. He did.
I think Marania's angry because it's David Michelini, and David Michelini should be on Iron Man.
I'm sorry. We got Gary Duggan. Be happy that Gary Duggan knocked out 4.5. Gary Duggan knocked a 4.5 out of 5 from a Marania as far as his last issue with Iron Man. That is an achievement. That where's the Xbox noise? It's achievement unlocked.
I still don't know if I buy that.
But
I think it's just a lack of good Iron Man. to be
I
in that
love
version.
this though. This looks like the alien symbiote, and like
Yeah.
versus what we got kind of with Kate's. I love this version,
Yeah.
this muscular. Um, you throw, like I said, you throw Doctor Doom in this, and it's Micheline. Now, we were talking. I was talking to Ash last night on the. We were talking. I mean, Zach was on too. We are talking about Micheline as far as in the back of the day compared to all the other writers, he was kind of a mid guy. He said, "I will take
Yeah.
the mid guy who's 10 times better than the crap coming out today." Some of these writers. He like said, I'm getting a villain version of Edward Brock's Venom versus getting what we got with Kate's, where he's kind of like not a villain. He was just redempted. I'm now a hero. Not to knock Kate's Venom. Kate's Venom still was better than the we've got in a while. So those are the books. But like I said, I do hope this continues to be epic. Like I said, I love the fact that this is a Venom that still eats brains. On the menu. Like I said, now there's some weird variants here. This is the Chrissy Zulo. Like this, look, get your box back with Iron Man. There you go.
I don't hate
it's
it.
It's an Iron Man cover, Marania.
I don't hate it. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I don't care for this art. This art's just kind of weird.
Yeah,
but I do like this. It's like, why couldn't we get the main cover with an Iron Man box on top here? That'd be funny. Yeah, this is cool. This is the Venom. No. Now, logically, Doctor Doom with a symbiote, he wouldn't need a symbiote. But I do like how it kind of merges together. But and look, Doctor Doom's kind of burned in the mask too. That's why he has the mask still.
Yeah,
he's not healed. And then we have the Timeless Ross variant, which I don't know if this has been released before. It probably has.
Alex Ross. No, he did this is like the villain version of those Heroes covers he did last year or 2 years ago.
So he didn't do any villains. He just did all the heroes. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago it was all heroes. Now he's doing the villains. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have the Momoko doing Silver Sable, which I don't believe is going to be in the book, but then I'll be surprised if she is. And then, of course, here's the Shattered. This is the gold variant of the one, gold background. I didn't notice before Spider-Man in the bottom there. I don't know. Like I said, these are just kind of gimmicky, Here's the normal version of that one. Like these are very gimmicky. Like this, it's like if you're giving this me as a stained glass thing, sure, kind of cool. But as a comic cover, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So basically, yeah. As I said, I look forward to this. Hopefully, it turns out to be better than I expected it to be. Because right now, I'm kind of like, well, I did like the last one. I didn't like the ending. My problem with the Venom stuff, League the Protector, is that I want Spider-Man. Spider-Man versus Venom. That's what we want. Venom is a villain having the face off against Spider-Man. They're like, well, it's been done before. Doesn't mean it has to stop. Just like Jameson was better when he didn't know Peter Parker's identity as Spider-Man. Someone argue different. It had to end. I say, no, comics don't have to change. They don't have to advance that much. You can still tell stories like that. But we all have our opinions. All right, so wow, you got to leave already in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he starts.
Wow, that's right, kids. We're not allowed to take our time anymore. Zach decided to hang out with Angleton and do a live stream over there. Yeah. All right. Let's go to viewers.
All right. Hey, look, don't worry. You're about to rag on me and make fun of my choice all you want to.
Action Comics?
Action Comics, baby! 1053. Nailed it. Not this cover, though. This is one of those really, I don't understand the Randy Quaid fascination. This is not
it Randy Quaid or is it Ronald Reagan?
It looks like, it still looks like Randy Quaid. This is not the cover. There is only one acceptable cover for this book that I will be getting. Well, actually, I guess there's two. But Will Jack is yes. Oh, there's the one that's like zoomed out a little bit. That's the one.
If only she could be drawn this way in the book.
You're not even looking.
If only they
could
go back to the 2009, art. But yeah,
you got to find the one that zooms out that gets the whole body in. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes. This is Zach's next body pillow.
I will not confirm or deny. Yeah, I do love this. I do love that cover. Yeah, Action Comics, y'all. Listen, there's 3 stories in here. It's an anthology, and at least 2 of them are good and worth it. You got Philip Kennedy Johnson taking on the main story, which is right now it's Superman versus Metallo, pretty much is what it boils down to. Right. And then you got the second story is the Dan Jurgens story, which is like a flashback to when John Kent was like 10 years old. That one's really good. That one has coloring done by Elizabeth Breitweiser. And then you have the third story, which is Leah Williams, which so far I've been a little disappointed in because it seems like DC really reined her in and said, don't go crazy like you did with Exterminators, which is a bummer. But the Power Girl one, it's been mid. It has really been mid in its truest definition. So yeah, you're getting 3 stories here in one book, 48 pages. I mean, you're getting 3 stories for $5, which I think is better than 1 story for $5. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Phil K. Johnson alone has been great on Superman since he came onto the title. So well worth it, in my opinion.
Yes, and the only good story from here to me is this one here. You get Crypto, young Jonathan Kent. This is Dan Jurgens. I really hope this book is collected with just individual stories, kind of like they did for Walking Dead and Skybound X. I want the Jurgens stories collected because Jurgens this is what we want. We want young Jonathan Kent stories. In fact, we're getting this. The Power Girl would be cooler if she wasn't a damn therapist.
Mark McGrath actually makes a good point because this is not new with Power Girl. There was the time they made Power Girl Atlantean, which nobody remembers.
She has psychic powers now. So basically, she people come over and then she helps them get past their trauma by going into their head, mindscape thing.
Yeah.
She's basically Charles Xavier. Sit down, my child. I'll help you navigate. Your Logan. I'll unlock your memories. It's no.
I think it's different.
I gotta say though,
unique. I think it makes her stand out from the rest of the people that wear Superman's logo.
Leah Williams writing this. Now this is Leah Williams basically on a leash.
Yeah.
Although that is a hot concept to me because she is freaking hot. But I mean, she's basically your hands are tied. She cannot. She's not. This is not going from Exterminators where she's allowed to do satire like this. They let her write basically how we got the 2009 basically the Unchained version of Power Girl. I think it would be better having her write more of a serious comic book. Doesn't really fit her writing style. So
yeah, I agree. I think it would work better if if she was able to go crazy like she did with Exterminators. I think it'd be a much better thing to work.
I'm gonna count down my my issues or books here, and then we'll go to my number 1. I'm pretty sure you have the same number 1 as me. If you don't have the number 1, I'll have to disown you.
Well, let's see. Is the number 1? Does it star a member of a?
It's a book that came out last week.
Yeah, it's the one that. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So my number 5 was Daredevil number 9. Number 4 was Power Rangers TMT number 4. The Comics 1070 was my number 3. You just saw that Venom Lethal Protector Volume 2 number 1 was my number 2. And let's go to Zach. Let's count down your 5 through 4.
My number 5 is Rocket Man and Rocket Girl, number 1. My number 4 is Thor, number 32. Number 3 is Clobberin' Time, number 1. Number 2 is Action Comics 1053. And our number 1 is, of course,
Stargirl.
And the Lost Children, number 5. Look at that cover.
What more can I say about this? Is this Jeff Johns adding more characters back to the DC universe, but also he's having new characters interacting with original characters, sidekicks. And overall, it's just been a fun ride. Like I said, I look forward to reading more of this. This is issue 5 of 6. I just want Jeff Johns ongoing. I mean, I understand he's building a world over there with Geiger and all, Junkyard Joe.
Yeah.
But like I said, I love 1940s characters and kind of like this. You're getting like sidekicks. This is they even address that problem. They're like, there's too many characters. They address it in this, and it's like, don't worry, half of us may get captured, but the other half they can't stop. They're gonna lead. This is basically this issue. They're gonna lead invasion on the castle, or basically, and try to free, Red Arrow, and what's her name? Judy. Judy Garrett.
Judy Garrett. Yeah.
And go against Our Man from the future. Our Man. That's what we're led to believe. Yeah, fun issue. Like I said, it's just everything we want from current comic books. We look at that crap that came out last year, the Young Justice shit by Megan Fitzmartin. Miles better than this. Respect to the characters. Jeff Johns takes the time to research original sidekicks. And just write some, and you get Todd Knock on the art, man. Todd Knock is just like you said, Todd Knock is just he is chef's kiss when it comes to like Jeff Johns characters doing this. I believe he worked on the original Stargirl with him, didn't he?
No, I don't think so. I think that was somebody else on Stargirl.
I have to double check, but I know he's worked with Jeff Johns in the past on some of the
stuff. I'm sure he has. I don't think it was on Stargirl though. I could be wrong. But just to echo what RDV said, this has been really fun. If you love the Golden Age characters, all these like clever sidekicks that they had, he did create some new ones, but then he also just dug up a bunch of ones that DC seems like they forgot about, like the Newsboy Legion and Wing. It's really cool seeing some of these other characters that he made like custom. Like he's got the what's her name, Salem 7, who's Dr. Faith's sidekick, or he's got like TikTok, he's like this little Our Man sidekick. Just some really cool creative concepts, and it's a lot of characters, but Jeff Johns, he's able to like give each of them a voice, it feels like. And Jeff Johns, he does what Donny Cates did with Marvel. He ties all of his titles together. So I have no doubt that this will end up tying into his JSA run down the line.
Like I said, he also makes it kid friendly. If you're getting your kids want something to read to save the comic books from Marvel to DC, check out this.
There you go.
This I don't understand this, but I guess this is supposed to attract the girls who are like, oh, it's pretty. Get this cover. But I don't know. Sweeney Boo does the other one. This is
Mark McGrath. No, leave Tom Cat in the past. He doesn't need to come back.
This is some Ortega person. Belen Ortega cardstock variant, which isn't even listed in here.
I have no idea who that is.
They didn't even list them.
Yeah.
It's a 125, but here's the cast of characters are here. We have Airwave, Betsy Ross, Girls Go Boom, Judy Garrick, Cherry Bomb, who's just created for this. Corky Baxter, Dynamite, Ladybug, who's kind of cool character. John Henry Jr., Little Boy Blue, Little Miss Redhead, Molly Pitcher, Salem, that you mentioned before, Salem the Witch Girl, Secret, Wing Hao, or basically Wing, and the TikTok. I said these are just fun little characters, and like I said, you can tell by the older pictures, Airwave is an older character, original established character, and some of these are new.
Some of them are new, some of them are old. Yeah, it's a nice mix.
Yeah. And 15 out of 15 people liked it so far who read it.
That's right.
So
awesome. Well, guys, on that
Well,
note,
yeah.
I've got to Amscrape, but y'all stay here. I'm sure Ash is going to have one or two issues maybe he's picking up this week that he's going to want to regale and talk about, and then RDB is going to go through like the hardcovers and the trades. So I will see y'all later. Y'all don't forget there is also a reading club going on tonight in RDB's Discord.
No, you're wrong
It's
again.
not tonight.
It's in Ash's Discord.
Oh, Ash's Discord. Excuse me.
But if like I said, reading club is basically if you want to listen in, join Ash's Discord. You can listen in. But basically, what we do is we pick a book, we all read basically through, and it's every 2 weeks. But
yep,
I think to join.
It's a really good book.
Yeah.
The first 4 issues, I think you said, of Paradiso.
First 4 issues of Paradiso, yeah. And Zach is missing out. No offense to
So
Maronia.
if you,
I am missing out. I know.
So obviously, those who haven't read it, if you want to join Ash's Discord, you can go. You can right now. I have my link for my Discord there. We can navigate you over the Ashes, and then if you want to listen in on as far as us talking about it, you're more than welcome to. And then maybe 2 weeks from now, when we do it again, you can catch up and read it. And join us on the conversation.
It's a really good book. It's really good.
Yes,
I know.
I'm
going to get to it eventually. It's Ram V. I'm going to get to it eventually. But I will see you guys later. Y'all have a fantastic night.
All right. So, Ash, do you have any comments on Stargirl? I
haven't been reading Stargirl. It's one of those things I probably will get to some, in the trade. I'll just binge it or something. I'm not necessarily a Stargirl fan, but I am a Jeff Johns fan, and I love what he does with DC Comics. So if anyone can make me like Stargirl, it's gonna be him.
Yeah, Jeff John has been killing it over an Image, with his Geigerverse and world building, and he's kind of doing this with this. He's following up to basically to Doomsday Clock, or I think it's called, and he's tying stuff in. Flashpoint Beyond, he did, and this led to this, the Justice Society of America, the Lost Children, Stargirl Lost Children. It's all connected. So I said, I love that when you read a comic book and oh my gosh, this goes back to this, kind of how Cates was doing with Venom and Thor, and also Silver Surfer Black, and then the Thanos,
it's just kind of the way that comics have always been done.
Like I said,
he passed away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a nice callback to the yesteryear. So
you can tell that Donny Cates and Jeff Johns are lovers of the medium and the way that it's been done. We're fans of this way, and each in their different way. But both of them, Jeff Johns seems to be more of a DC mindset. Cates more of a Marvel mindset. But they love these characters. They love the shared world and trying to make it a living place where when something happens in one comic, it ripples over to other comics. They don't necessarily have to cross over and stuff, but just it's all in the same world, and so whatever happens in one matters to everyone else. If they knock down the Empire State Building in Spider-Man and you pick up Fantastic Four, the Empire State Building will be knocked down because
we always go back to what we talk about. We want comics that matter. So I love having subplots that actually matter, going through.
Right. Because it keeps you interested.
Yeah.
This has ramifications. It matters. I need to know. If we just go, whatever happens here doesn't actually matter, then why am I even wasting my time?
Sure. And I never read Legend of the Dark Knight, back in the 90s, but I was told that those are kind of standalone issues. But I would hope that at least there's a subplot going in. If there wasn't,
no, that was actually one of the problems. Yeah. And here's the thing. You obviously can do great comics that aren't part of that greater continuity, but you better be excellent, right? Dark Knight Returns doesn't matter, quote unquote, but it's so good it transcends it. So you can do that, but if you're just mid, you better matter,
right? Like I said, I love connected stuff. I'm getting spoiled by that as I read more and more stuff. Sometimes we don't want them. There's for certain events we don't want them connected to other crappy events. So I do like the standalones, only because the writing quality has gone down in the years. So when I have a favorite writer and he's forced to basically adhere to his story because of some shitty event going on at Marvel or DC, it kind of this, or roll my eyes, and like. But unfortunately, the times that's happened before, Donny Cates and both Jed MacKay have basically rose above the occasion and actually, had to make it just, but they made it work. Not everybody can do that.
Well, they could do that. It just takes a little effort.
Well, that's what I mean. Not
I
everybody.
think a lot of modern creators don't care to. They don't see the value in it because
it's the paycheck.
It's the paycheck, but they also they didn't necessarily grow up as comic fans. So they're coming into a medium and they don't share that same appreciation. They may be storytellers. Like you see a lot of like TV and movie writers coming into comics these days. And it's just a different ball game. And they're just coming into it as from a position of being a storyteller. Like I'm just here to write a story. It doesn't have to connect because they don't get it.
Yep.
To them, it doesn't matter.
But they so you can tell who has the passion. Like I said, Jeremy Adams, after he took over Josh Williams, I had no idea who this guy was. This guy looked like he wrote some DC Lego movies and stuff, and I was like, okay. And then I read it. You could tell he had a passion for what he was doing. He wasn't doing just the virtue signal. Say, hey, look at me. He wasn't no freaking Tom Taylor, a fake fan. This guy actually cared about the characters, put effort into it. He kind of now. I don't want to say self-insert, but he does have two small children, two small girls that, he really loves being a dad. And you can see that reflect in his writing with Wally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons why Zach and I just really fell in love with that book, because like, I don't see that in comics that often where the character like actually feels like a live character, so that's why I really got into the Flash, I mean, I did like Barry with Josh Williamson, but the problem is like, we have Kid Flash become Flash because you killed off the main Flash and you bring back the main Flash back. It's kind of cause confusion and problems, Like I said, I take comics where I can get them and I read them. A lot of days I go back to read a lot of back issues versus reading the new issues. The new issues allows me to reach out and talk to you guys about what's coming out and helping you navigate as far as what books coming out might be good and what you should probably avoid. But I mean, I'm always here to talk about older books, new books, or anything. That's what I love about being a comic book nerd. There's so much we can talk about.
For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff, let's talk about some hardcovers.
Well, you're not gonna ask what my picks of the week are.
Well, what is your picks of the week, sir?
They're not many. I'm only getting two books this week. Right? Yeah, I'm picking up the Ancient Enemies from the Frank Miller Presents line of comics.
Nice.
And I'm also picking up Ambassadors. It comes out this week from Miller World Books from our boy Mark Millar. First issue's drawn by Frank Quitely, but every issue is going to be drawn by another big-time artist. So the premise of that book is 8 billion people, 6 can have superpowers. Who do you choose?
Yes.
And I pretty much buy most any book by Mark Millar these days because he just writes fun. They're not always home runs, but they're always fun. And I just love that pitch. Like I hear that, and I'm like, that's such a perfect elevator pitch. I'm already like, I need to know more, because who would we choose? Like if I looked at the world today and some super being came down and was like, you can have choose 6 to have superpowers, like who would we choose? So I think that can make an interesting story. Hopefully it's executed well.
And even Black Cat is saying that Junkyard Joe sadly it's been delayed until May 10th for the last issue.
What?
I know, right?
that might be the best book on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
But all it's going to do is wet my palate, and because this is the last issue, right?
I think so.
I think it's issue 6.
Here's my issue with that. It's going to be like Berserker. My sense. I'm going to forget that's coming out.
Well, those of us that have pull lists, we don't have to worry about that sort of stuff.
No, sure. Yeah, exactly. That's why you create a pull list. But I mean, like, I get so hyper, I'm like, I want the next issue. Like I got 2 weeks or whatever, or a month, and then it's like, you keep pushing it back, delayed. Now, Berserker, to be fair, was delayed like 4 months. I felt like that. the last issue. But oh my gosh. Anyway, but if you want to learn more about Berserker, go check out Ashen Comics. Go check out the stream we did last night.
Yeah, we talked about it last night. It was fun.
You
know what? This is gonna rock your world. Samurai Doggy #6 is supposed to come out the same day as Junkyard Joe #6. And Samurai Doggy was 5 months delayed, and it may have an issue 6 by the same time Junkyard Joe does.
So you're saying we have 2 books to talk about on Monday night?
Yeah, we do actually. We do. If it's not pushed back, it's very likely that it could be pushed back where that book's been going.
Junkyard Samurai Doggy Joe.
Junkyard Samurai Doggy Joe. I like that. I'd read that book.
Junkyard Samurai Doggy. Samurai Junkyard Doggy. All right, so also, like Kaz says, Legends of the Dark Knight were standalone stories up until issue 59, and then it started crossing over during Nightfall. Good story for Nightfall. I've been like that. Speaking of good books coming out for hardcover and trades, we got Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood Treasure Edition. Now I read this. I went through it. It was okay. Some of the issues, some stories are all right. For the most part, though, it's gonna get Treasure Edition. I don't really see that much in the newer books, but I guess that's a new thing they're gonna start doing now. But the better one,
those gimmicks.
The better one is Mark Spector, Moon Knight. This is Chuck Dixon, hardcover.
Oh.
Collecting Mark Spector, Moon Knight 1 through 34, Amazing Spider-Man 353 and 358, or 358, Moon Knight, Divided We Fall, and material from Punisher Annual #2. This is hardcover. Now it's 124 pages for $10,064. $125 for 10,064 pages. I don't know why I said the other way. In stock trades, probably gonna have it drop down to $75, where I'm probably gonna pick it up. And so yeah, it's Chuck Dixon with Howard Mackie. We got J.M. DeMatteis on here too. Mike Barron, Al Milgrom, Bruce Jones, Mark Bagley, Ron Garney, Bill Reinhold, Russ Heath, Sal Velluto, and J.J. Birch, and Denny's Cohen. And here's the alternative cover. Like I said, I like Moon. I have all the Epic collections now of this, but this is a hardcover. I don't have hardcovers of the first Moon Knight stuff, Doug Mensch. So now I guess some people did not like this much. They like the original version. I guess this is where we start going into the the multiple personality. Mr. Dixon. So, but yeah, we got Ghost Rider, Hobgoblin, some character named Chainsaw, and we have Arsenal. So takes an anarchist flag smasher and finds himself trial for his crimes as a mercenary. Wow. So yeah, and plus also this, he was still with Marlene. Marlene was still his love interest. They didn't just make her like a total bitch. So I don't know, like I said, hopefully this turns out to be I'm still reading a lot of Chuck Dixon stuff, but I hope that this book actually when he's average, he's midnight.
Midnight.
there already is a villain named Midnight.
Yeah, that's funny though. That was a good one, Breen. You still got it.
Undead Clan, I think he only has one book because I didn't see him post anything else. So his #1 book of the week, it looks like it's Parker Girls. Yeah, #6. And hello to Undead Quinn. Good to see you. Yeah, so like I said, I'm looking forward to picking this up. I'm man, I love both covers.
I find it fascinating that this character, which was really, I mean, Moon Knight has struggled since his inception. Like, he's never been a big popular character.
No.
But like now there's like a popularity to him. Like all of a sudden it's like he's cool and people want to go back and read back issues. I'm like, this is so weird. Like he was never really he's just one of those characters. Like I said, he was this kind of a lower tier character that just never gained a lot of popularity.
Yeah, before the show came on Disney Plus, I was reading Jed McKay's book. The last time I basically we'd done some stuff. We've read some of the. We appeared at Werewolf by Night. We read that on the channel here too. The guy piqued my interest. I started reading a lot of the original Moon Knight stuff. I loved it. He had, it wasn't 3 personalities. It was just basically 3 personas he used. One, he was basically he scammed these guys who basically hired him to hunt down, capture Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell. But in the end, he just takes their money from them and then basically f's them over, and that's why it becomes Mark Spector, or not Spector, but what's his name? It's not Jake. It's the other one. See, it's been a while since I read it, but anyway, he becomes kind of like almost like a rich playboy, philanthropist, and then he he has a butler and all stuff, and then he becomes Moon Knight, and when when he's not in order to get information, he goes undercover, kind of like Batman would go undercover, and there's Matches Malone, but he goes undercover as Jake. So like I said, I love this kind of like whole persona thing before, instead of being like, oh, he's just like switching back and forth personalities. Like I've seen that done better. And his name's Twice, My Hero Academia.
Well, Twice came along 35 years later.
I know, but I mean, like, the multiple personality thing, and people are like, oh, I love that. I'm like, how do you love that? To me, that's like this schizo.
I find it difficult too. I find mental health to be a very challenging thing to read, and comic book characters, to me, are meant to be just kind of fun and escapist. Like, there's a time and a place when you want to tell a story to kind of get people to understand, like, maybe what it's like to be schizophrenic or whatever. But I don't know about comic books. Like, sometimes I just want to have heroes beating villains. I don't necessarily want to be like, well, this is what it's like to have mental health issues, and
yeah. I mean, the show did a thing like, when they made the deal to save your life, you were broken. That's why you didn't. It's like it was okay. The show was not as great as it could have been. Like I said, I love the original because Steven was his persona, fake persona he created to be his public identity, his fake public identity. Mark was basically a mercenary before he died, and he became the Moon Knight. And he just put a costume on. He just put a shirt on. Jed McKay is kind of since then, because Jed McKay had to adapt to all the crap before that. I do love the art on his books because Moon Knight's supposed to be like, oh, he's like, he's a harbinger, like he's serves the moon, Khonshu, whatever it got, So he looks. I love how they like illuminate him. But like I said, I love these. I mean, I think a lot of these covers were still Sienkiewicz covers on these. I'm not sure who does a cover on this, on the actual book here. If they even say, cover artist on here. Dennis Cohen is penciler cover artist. I'm not sure if he's the cover artist of this, though. But
yeah, you'd probably have to. It's probably, I don't know if they reused an old cover. And it's hard to tell sometimes.
It looks like it though, because the font drawing. I can't. It doesn't see on the cover either on that little photo. You know what? I do see a COW in the bottom here. This might be Cohen. But overall, like I said, I'm gonna happily add this to my collection.
One second,
but you sure can. There are more books coming out this week, though, that I'm looking forward to getting. Yeah. So we're gonna skip Infinite Frontier because I'm not a fan of Infinite Frontier, but it was okay. But $35 for a trade, I do like this though. Oh man, I think they got Acts of Vengeance, and we have Watch Out for Bullseye. Yeah, let me look at some of these. So, Epic Collection right here. Avengers. This is collecting Avengers 304 through 318 with the annual number 18. Avengers West Coast Avengers. 53 to 55. John Byrne, Higgins, and Nasiza. I can't, yeah. But man, I kind of like these older books. So I don't know if anybody actually who's already here is watching has actually read these before. I like I like reading more of the collected trades versions. Now they probably already have these in the Masterworks if you collect Avengers, but I just hope that these are in order because apparently, as we saw what DC did, was it 2 weeks ago? They put out that Jeff Johns JSA book, Go Yourself, and it was out of order when they put it out. So they messed up. They dropped the ball hard on it, and they were called out on it. But like I said, I'm always sucker for Thor old school art. It looks like the Lava Man almost this way. And then yeah, you have Nebula, and then you have Spider-Man popping up in here. So this looks cool. What else we got here going on here? We got looks like we got the Epic Collection of Daredevil. And yeah. This is who's running this. This is Marv Wolfman, Len Wein. Steve Gerber, Chris Claremont, Jerry Conway, Tony Isabella, Sal Buscema. You're working here. Some Gene Colan art here. We got Don Heck, Bob Brown, Paul Gulacy, Vince Galetta erasing everything. Frank Chiaramante, Jim Mooney, Joe Sinnott, Klaus Janson, Frank Giacola, George Russo's. Look at this. It's I know for man. This is the villains you're gonna have. You're gonna have Natasha. You're gonna have the Man Thing, Owl, Moondragon, Shanna the She-Devil, Gladiator, Deathstalker, Bullseye, Beetle. Collects 108, 109, 110, 111. This keeps going, man. Goes all the way down to 132. Marvel 2-in-1, number 3. So from my understanding, this is a little bit before we got the Frank Miller's run. But yeah, man, I love old school comic books when it comes to Marvel. So Daredevil is one of those that's kind of growing on me. At first, I was like, Stan Lee, Daredevil compared to, because I read Frank Miller. And it's like once you read that, it's like nothing really compares to that. So you start reading. So I'm like, I don't want to. I've always been a guy who's like, if I read Silver Age, oh man, I don't care about Silver Age. Silver Age is kind of boring. Look at the art; it's not as great. And then I start reading the storytelling, and in all these books, is just much more like intriguing. As you said, everything was connected. So if something happened in Daredevil, and if it is a world threatening, if Shield is involved, it may be involved into Avengers or whatever is crossing over with it. So all right, and that's like my Unnatural Blue Bloods month behind, says Andy Quinn. T. Lamb says, I finally started reading The Almighty by Peter Gianvasi trade. Definitely worth the read. Never heard of that.
Oh, I was very curious about that.
Yeah. I've never even heard of it before, but
apparently it was a series he did like in 2010.
Yeah.
I think he did it originally for DC, but it was a creator-owned project. I think it's reprinted under Image now. I could correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it came out like in the last 6 months. He did a new collected trade version of it, and I believe it's a superhero book. But I didn't know anything about it. I was like, it's hard to. It's one of those things that's really hard to find, and because of the name, if you search for it, like Almighty,
yeah,
it's really hard to search for.
I gotta say, I'm using Opera tonight. I love this. I can just open a new tab and quickly switch to that tab.
Yeah,
Opera's really convenient. Opera's awesome. I might just get rid of Chrome and just do Opera from now on.
I haven't used Chrome in a long time, but Opera's based off Chrome, so.
Which is, I'm liking this. I'm noticing this too. So it's much sweeter how it runs. Nova. I never really read this Richard Rider stuff, but it's another I guess character that fans love. There's a huge backing for this character. He's appeared, like you said, he's appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 171 is collecting here, so I've seen him before pop up, but he's always been one of those things like it's like, all right, is he just like a human flying bullet? He just flies through people. That's his power. Like he doesn't, or does he shoot energy beams on his hands? Like, is he like Captain Marvel?
Nova. Just never.
But
I never did.
Yeah. So it says Richard Rider is Nova, the original 1970s human rocket, struck by an energy sent by a dying alien. He's inherited the mantle of the intergalactic Nova Centurion. So basically, he's Green Lantern, but for Marvel. That's what it sounds like. The newly minted hero must somehow balance schoolwork, social life, and constant string of villains, including Condor, Powerhouse, Diamond. Diamond Head is also, and then he has Blackout and the dreaded Sphinx, who seeks a secret that Nova doesn't even know he's carrying. Plus, Nova and Spider-Man unravel a murder mystery. Rich's father is ensnared in on a world scheme, and Nova joins the dynamic Defenders. And when the Nova Corp's homeworld, Xandar, comes under attack, Rich and his new allies leave Earth behind to join the cosmic fray, while the Fantastic Four tackle the Sphinx. So, man, like I said, $100 for 888 pages, hardcover. Dude, hardcover sells to me. Do you want to buy this in a floppy? No, I don't want a floppy. Just give me a hardcover. Hardcover just looks nicer on your shelf.
They do look nicer on the shelf, but that's really the only thing. Like
reading, you're like, I don't want to break the spine.
Trophies. Soft covers for reading,
right? Because you don't want to break the spine. Like, all right, can I see in here? Can I flip them? Yeah. So I do love the old school when they only had use of 4 colors. I guess I don't know. This might have been a little after that, but
no, that's 4 color.
I do love the art. That is nice looking art on the cover. But Marv Wolfman, John Buscema, on here. Keith Bullard does a variant cover, but this is the main cover here. This is John Buscema doing the cover art. Like I said, I'm curious to look at this. Like I said, it has Fantastic Four, numbers 204 to 206, 208 to 214, and annual number 12. That is Marvel 2-in-1, number 91, and then annual number 3, The Thing, number 34, and material from the What If, number 36. And like I said, Amazing Spider-Man 171, Defenders 62 through 64. So basically, Nova went for 25 issues. I mean, that's typical today, right?
Typical today, but it was not typical for back then.
No, but 25 issues today, you should get a shitty book. 25 issues back then were good books.
I don't know actually about that. I mean, the fact that it only went 25, because back in the day, they didn't want to launch a book unless it was going to go over 100 issues.
Well, yeah, true.
They did not like the idea of launching a book that wouldn't last very long. So if it only went 25, at the very least, I can't say that means it wasn't good, but at the very least, it wasn't hitting fans.
No, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of books that go under the radar because people don't either look at the cover and it's with me. I when I first saw this, he's a guy that flies around. It looks like a human bullet. Yay! I saw, but he could be awesome. I don't know. I did read that 171 when he crossed over with Spider-Man, and I did like the issue. But I think we even read the first issue of Nova on our channel here too, a while back. But like I said, these are books I all want to start reading and just expand my comic book knowledge as far as Marvel 70s. And I love the fact that in the 70s, Marvel was trying to still doing some monster stuff, but they're also trying to do some more space stuff too as well. So more cosmic, it's a different type of hero. Superman was kind of like the guy during DC. He was always on the planet, but occasionally, when he left, you couldn't see him in space. It was like, oh my gosh, why haven't they done this before? It's like, some characters can't do that. Like Nova, you can see him in space. We can also see him on Earth. Spider-Man, throw him in space, he's kind of like, okay, I can't stick to anything. What am I gonna do? You know? Yeah, but the first 14 issues of Nova were a blast. The next 11 were good, but not as good. Books that weren't tethered to the main franchises never lasted. The 70s were no exception. Yeah. I remember Brains that he did like this, you know. But all right, what else?
Yeah, Eric makes a really good point there. It was really hard. I mean, and I think, and Eric can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that's really why Marvel was so tentative about launching new series, because they sort of had their core. After the Silver Age, they came out of that. They had their Fantastic Four, their Spider-Man, you had your Iron Man and your Avengers and X-Men.
Sure.
Like, you had your core Marvel books. These periphery books, they were really hard to break in. You know, it was rare that you'd get something like in the 80s, like Punisher. When they finally gave Punisher his own series, he became like a mainstay. He became one of the hottest books, and he was kind of adopted by the fan base as like a hardcore central character. But most characters stayed like Nova, you know, just kind of like Shang-Chi. People were like, Iron Fist, like they just never could. They were always like the wallflower characters. And Eric says, send him a link so he can come here and correct me. It'll make that Ash look stupid.
Here, let me.
That was my Eric Breen impression. It wasn't very good.
I like indies. I'm Eric Breen.
He is a man of indies.
Yes. So I'm looking at Carnage right here, and like Carnage was one of those characters. Like, all right, this is the new improved version. We're gonna have Venom and Spider-Man, two bitter enemies, team up together going against Carnage. I did like as Larry Hama did some stories. I did like here. Michelini was on here too. We got to see more of Bagley. And I think Kyle Holtz was on here too. Who's the Hots? Yeah. Kyle Hotz, yeah, who was a penciler, yeah. Dan Jurgens took a stab at this too. And J.M. DeMatteis, Howard Mackey, Tom DeFalco, Warren Ellis. And all right, Warren Ellis. That's like crazy.
Early Warren Ellis.
Warren, no, I'm just saying, I'm going back and looking at everything that Warren Ellis has done. I didn't recognize the name, but now I'm going back. It's been like 30 years back since I read these books. I read these when I was 18, almost. Well, no, before I was 18.
30 years, huh?
Yeah.
It's been 30 years. You read it when you're 18. Were you my age?
I aged 10 more. No, but I mean, like it's been. I got into comic books when I was 18, 19. You know, but these came out like early 90s, I guess. Late 80s, early 90s. Whenever Amazing Spider-Man was, as far as 403 and 410. But not like I said, this is when Marvel was kind of cooling down with some of the titles. Like Spider-Man was starting getting things. Carnage,
well,
I
this
do
was
like.
after right after Image launch, right? Because Bagley came on the Spider-Man. He's like the third stringer. Some people like Eric will remember, but a lot of people that are younger, they don't recall. Like, you had McFarlane on Spider-Man, then they gave him his own book to try to appease him, so they put Eric Larson on Spider-Man, and then they formed Image, and Eric Larson and McFarlane, you know, were part of the main core of those guys. So then they were like, okay, bring this Bagley guy off the bench. You know, that's just how deep the talent pool went at Marvel. And nowadays we consider like Bagley, oh yeah, Bagley is good. Like, and it's like back then he could barely get a break until Image.
All right, so going to we talked about as much Carnage as we can for tonight. I'm gonna go over to another book that just ended, and it's 4 issues, and they are doing a trade for it.
Oh yeah!
So if you missed the first or any of the issues,
that's a book I could read over and over. As far as modern comics, Erratic is a book.
Yeah,
that is. I don't know if he's still listening, but not only is it like I love the art, I can just goggle at the art, but the writing, like it's one of those perfect marriage books. It's really fun and just entertaining. Um, I just have a joy of flipping through it over and over.
Yeah, like I said, this is basically like if you miss old school Spider-Man and you kind of want to see kind of like just a character who only has powers that last for 10 minutes a day, and he's in high school, and just everything in this kid's coming, it just either the teachers are just like crazy wackos, kind of like if you're going to public school today.
Yeah.
And then this is the second volume. Like he had a girl that liked him. She was popular, and then she became less popular because she was hanging out with him. And then she doesn't really like him, but gets jealous when other people like him. She hates not being the center of attention, and she knows his secret now. So we're going into this, and then in this we get a basically this girl came from the void. She's this barbarian princess who claims to be from another dimension. And now, because the girl that they don't like Oliver, all of a sudden she's jealous and she wants to like Oliver's mine, you know. So I love it. Just it's kind of like a high school thing, like a drama thing, but done well. It just sucks. It's only 4 issues, man.
Yeah.
But we get to learn more about him. This is Kari Andrews doing the writing and the cover artist. He's also doing the interior art as well.
What is the MSRP on that?
You mean MSRP?
The price.
It is $10.
$9.99 for the single price of a crappy DC holiday comic. You can get a full trade. It is amazing. Erratic 1 and 2, utterly fantastic, totally fun. If you miss 80s and 90s style Marvel comics, this is just it just is that way. And one of the things I love about this book too is that it's witty and funny without being insufferable like the way a lot of these modern comics are, where it's like Bendis speak, where it's like everyone's just quipping at each other. This manages to have like humor and fun without feeling that way. I really like it.
Yeah, and now everybody knows me. I love having like as far as it comes to like the comic books, I like having the deluxe covers, oversized covers now, because I like having cover stuff, and you get the bonus features or backup stories or maybe sketches stuff, some side director's notes, cuts. The fact that this is only 4 issues, the same as the previous volume, 4 issues. I would love to see it in the deluxe, like
put together as one big deluxe,
one book. Because to me, it works better as one book, versus just 2 on your shelf. You know, I'm also just kind of spoiled when it comes to these deluxe covers. When I discovered them, I was just like, these are a thing, and they're oversized too. So if you're an older reader, the font's bigger. You know.
Yep.
But I will warn you, they are heavy. These are heavy books, man. The more pages. Yep. I think the other one was 96 pages too, so you're basically getting like 100.
The other one was 5 issues, so it's probably a little bigger.
Yeah, so you're getting like maybe 220 pages, maybe right around there.
More like 120.
You think so?
Yeah, but there are 20 issues or 20 pages per issue, probably.
We'll find out because these are 100 pages. These are 100 pages.
It's probably 20 something more pages than whatever this is. I guess is best way to.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah,
this is 96 pages for 4 books.
Yeah, so one extra comic would be 20 something more pages. Well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. All together though, the both volumes.
Oh, you meant combined. So,
yeah, I was like, are you cutting out half the story?
Yeah.
No.
But there may be another one coming. They may do an Erratic 3. So.
Then we'll get the deluxe. We'll get 3 stories. You know, maybe.
I don't know if AWA does that though. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but hey, if you guys are listening, AWA, I'm willing to pay for it for the deluxe book. Like I said, we go to In Stock Trades too. Like I said, In Stock Trades is a really good site if you're looking for older issues as far as like hardcovers or trades. They have a lot of the older ones and new ones. Yeah,
42% off.
Yeah,
free shipping with $50 or more order.
Yep. So there is one more thing that's really coming out this week that I thought was really cool. and I've been waiting for this because it's so hard to find this freaking book, man. Individual issues. This is Hawk the Slayer by Garth Ennis. Released at 5 issues back in the July of, or actually no, before the last summer, spring of last summer, or whatever in there. And it's a sequel to the movie. So if you've never seen the movie, you're kind of like, what is going on here? What's with this, like this elf that can like shoot like rapid arrows and stuff? Go check out the movie. It is free on Tubi TV right now. You can watch that. You can watch the normal version, or you can watch the riff tracks, the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000. You know, and both versions are great. It's just become a cult classic
in a terrible way.
In a terrible way.
You need to warn people.
It is not. It's so bad. It's hilarious. And good, you know, and Jack Palance is the villain, and he just he's just a great evil villain, and it's Jack Palance for some of our newer readers or newer viewers that didn't watch older movies. You may have watched City Slickers.
Yeah, City Slickers is probably what most people know him from.
But oh my gosh, this is through Rebellion. So basically, Rebellion is his imprint that Garth Ennis has, yeah, I managed to grab issue 1 and issue 5. I could not find, 2 through 4, which really made me upset. I was like, oh really? And then I went online. Of course, everybody, because it's unlimited printing, people want to jack the price up, and then still expect to pay shipping on top of that too for eBay. It's like, really? So there is
supply and demand.
there is a soft cover coming out trade, and then there's also a hardcover trade coming out of this week. Simon Pegg apparently is doing an introduction to this. I did not know about that. I did not read that part. But like I said, it's $24, 128 pages.
If you are a D&D nerd, or you at once in the past were a D&D nerd, and you just want to watch something that's so bad it's good, that captures and will take you back to those days, like, watch this movie. It's like that. It's you just have to see it. I had a friend get me to watch, and I was like, what is this? He's like, dude, you got to watch. And I was just laughing the whole way. It's one of those movies that's not meant to be funny, but it's funny because but it's in a good way. Like, it's not one of those movies where like I can't watch this. It's terrible. Like, you just have to see it. It's a cult classic for a reason. I can't believe Garth Ennis of all people wrote a sequel to it, but there it is.
Yep. And then our final trade for tonight I want to talk about is one I never thought I'd see it come back and be reprinted and collected in trade. This is Frank Miller's. I had to save the best for last, Frank and I. Frank is I know your favorite writer. He's your boy. I flipped through this when I was younger, and I did not get it. So I'm looking forward to actually going to rereading it.
There's not a whole lot to get. This is not.
It's so much violence.
This is not the most intelligible book.
I know.
But this is an example of a book where the art will so transcend everything. Like, you read this, the art in this is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And the original one, I'm not sure what this was. It came out in like the big magazines format, so that they could show off the art. Because Jeff Darrow, his art is so detailed. You can kind of get a little bit of a taste of it on the cover. Like, he would draw like every little bullet casing, and this was just an artist that they crossed paths with Frank Miller, and Frank Miller liked his art, and they just wanted to do a collaboration somehow. So they came up with this story about this character that is violent. It's weird. It's bizarro and weird, but it's so much fun. If you are just like comics and you love art, which I think hopefully most of us like comics are into art, this is a can't be missed book in my opinion.
I love the art on these things. Look at the size of this freaking gun, dude.
Yeah.
The detail on everything. like I said, and yeah, the premise of this is just weird. It says he's a suburban insurance investigator, a loving husband, and devoted father. Nixon is a berserk, a homicidal tax collector, racking up mind-boggling body counts in this diseased urban slaughterhouse. Unit 4 is the ultimate robot killing machine, and the last hope of features enslaved mechanical servants, and they're all the same psychotic entity. Dude, for $14.95 for 128 pages, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's like I said, this is just one of those things you're gonna gawk at it, like just pour over every panel.
Yeah.
And like I said, the story is it's not very intelligible. But it does have that great Frank Miller prose. Like it just reads. Hard-boiled is a perfect name because it reads like that old style
detective,
hard-boiled film noir style writing.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to looking at this and then basically seeing what I don't know. Maybe we'll discuss this on your channel. Maybe we'll discuss this book, man. It looks cool.
Yeah, I would be down. I got to dig my copy out somewhere. It's buried.
All right.
But
with that being said, I think we're going to end it here tonight on Hard Boiled. Man, we talked a lot of cool books tonight. Me and Zach had left about an hour ago. We got some cool stuff. Leather King, thank you for stopping on and letting us know about that channel. People go check that out. Man, it's just, I hope that anybody who saw this tonight saw some books, and maybe it's yourself you want to read, if you can, just after the stream, leave in the comment section, talk about what books you're excited about getting this week. And then with that being said, hope you guys had a good night, and we'll see you next time. Also, we for those who are new, Leather King, it's the first way to interact with you tonight. Check us out on Thursday nights, where we basically we're going to show off our pull list, or it's not a pull list, but the books we got, and we're going to basically what we do with Thursday nights, top 5. We find books that we are most excited about, and then we're going to basically see if those books on Thursday nights are still the same books we thought were going to be the favorite of the week.
No, Breen never came on.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed in
you,
Breen.
He's having technical difficulties. All right, have a good night, guys. And yes,
night,
HR, we'll be doing Paradiso soon.
Paradiso, oh, so good, so good.
Good night, guys.